Hello there, and welcome back to Crash Bandicoot for the PS1. In this part and that, well, we'll be playing through more of the game. What a surprise, right? Although there is one thing I want to point out and stuff that I sort of screwed up on like the last episode and things. So, oh my fucking god, this bloody headset, right? It's a good headset, but trying to get it on the right sound profile can be a little bit of a pain in the ass. Because I thought, you know, I'd done all tests beforehand and stuff, and it sounded great, and I was like, yep, cool, let's fire this away, no problem. And it went back to the default settings. So, if you thought the headset sounded a bit muffled, or maybe you didn't, hopefully it's on the right sound profile this time around. Because I like to have that audio clarity, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a Razer Kraken V2 Pro 2023, I think it is, which has a really, really sharp mic. Like, honestly, it's probably the best mic I've ever heard for a headset. And these days, I tend to prefer using headsets because, honestly, when I'm like talking and shit, I am like I have so much body language. Like I need to move around and stuff like that. And if I'm doing that, like on an actual proper microphone, yeah, it's the sound might be a little bit more distant in places and stuff like that. But still. Oh, wow. That's a catchphrase I haven't said in a while. Oh, man. What was it during Sonic Heroes in 2016? Yeah, it was that one. That was the one where I said stuff and things like that. So what it used to be is stuff and things and stuff like that, but still, I said that so many times. I don't know why. It was probably maybe a little nervous thing because even though I was excited for it, that was around the sort of time where I was like, I must make sure the commentary is, you know, rock solid and stuff, otherwise it's all going to mess up. And so because of that, I think that's why I kept repeating things. So hopefully that doesn't really happen as much now, but still. I like the little reference as well to this. I think with the level being called like Rolling Stones, it's got to be a reference to like the band. It has to be. It definitely has to be. Like, oh my goodness. But yeah, good old Crash Bandicoot. My god. I mean, it's a game from, what's it, 1996? Yeah, I think it was 1996. Either that or 1995. Either way, it's a long time ago. But again, this is just one of those games I find that just, it's so difficult to start with. But the more you try it, the better you get. And yeah, like, I still can't get all the bloody boxes. It's kind of annoying that in this game and that you can't just get all the boxes from the get-go, you know? Oh yeah, this time I've also got Hog Wild. This is a different gameplay element right here. It's an on-rails style thing. So, yeah, basically I can't like move back and forth myself. It does it all for me, so all I can do is just go left to right and jump. This one is more about memorization. Once you do it, as long as you do the exact same thing you did before, then you'll be alright, really. Come to think of it, it's kind of similar to a lot of stuff on the mobile phones these days, isn't it? For like apps, in ways. It is a little bit finicky though. Like, it's not perfect. It is a bit stiff when trying to like move left to right. But like I say, after you've done it for a while and stuff, it just gets natural over time, really. Oh, what else is pretty fascinating as well is, like, you know the soundtrack to Crash Bandicoot? The one that you're hearing in the background at the minute? There's a remastered, I think it is, or it's like an uncompressed version by the actual composer. Like, he has it on SoundCloud. Josh Mansell, I think it is, or something. And it's the same as well for Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot 3. And you know what, surprisingly, it's even like that for Jak and Daxter. So if you find that you really like the soundtrack to the games, now you should try like hearing the uncompressed versions. It's honestly, the difference is night and day. It's like, my god. One of the ones that comes to my head is probably the Rocket theme jetpack attack. Something. It's the one where you're in a jetpack and you're flying through space. Anyway, yeah, that one's like pretty decent. Tells you. Oh, it's also nice to see Crash orange. Because see, my other scaler and stuff that I used to use was like this HDMI, a SCART HDMI adapter. It was like a very sort of cheap one. It was about like 25 quid or something, I think it was. And that done the job. It looked okay, but it was sort of like washed out in places. That's why I find it kind of annoying whenever I look back on past LPs I did. When I said that I'm going to be recording like on original systems now, just like how it is, it wasn't quite done the correct way because everything looks so fucking washed out. Like, good grief. The biggest example I can think of was like during streams. So anytime Diddy Kong Racing was chosen for the N64, right? The grass is green. And Tip Top, the turtle, or tortoise, is green. When Tip Top goes on the grass, you cannot see him. he is gone. So that doesn't really happen now, because these days I tend to use S-Video with N64. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass for you that N64 didn't have RGB SCART from the get-go. Like, you have to mod it yourself, and it's like, oh my god. I could do that one day, I suppose, but honestly, from what I've seen, the difference is not gigantic compared to the other ones. Like, seriously, if you go from, like, Sega Mega Drive, from composite to RGB SCART is like a massive difference. Huge difference. I suppose the same could as well be said with, like, PlayStation. Because, I mean, that's currently what we've seen here at the minute. Now, one thing I did notice in retrospect for this, which is a little bit weird, right? I do not understand how, when you die in this game, the boxes reset, so you have to do it all without dying. But the tokens you collect, so be it the Torna tokens, Embryo tokens, or the Cortex tokens, they still stay. So how is it that stays in the code, but the boxes don't? I don't know, it's a bit of an oversight, that's for sure, and a rather strange one. But oh man. When it comes to playing Crash Bandicoot though, in this day and age, I would honestly recommend the Insane Trilogy version. Because as great as the original is, the saving on this, I will admit, is terrible. The only reason why I'm okay with it is because where I've played this game a lot, I can have moments where I can get all the boxes or get to the Torna bonus rounds and save that way. You know, it's just through practice. But the problem is, like, if you don't save and stuff, you know, it's going to kick you all the way back. And the levels aren't particularly, like, you're not just going to, like, breeze through them. You know, they take a lot of studying and things, like the physics and stuff like that, still. Whereas the Insane Trilogy version, it has saving, like you can save any time on the map, which is hella useful. The only thing I will say that is a bit of a shame, but they did rectify this in Crash Bandicoot 4, is that you don't get the option to put in infinite lives. Lives are kind of like a thing of the past, if you ask me. Like, it was cool back then, you know, because it kind of motivated you to play the game more, get further on it and stuff. Particularly with continues. Continues aren't really much of a thing now, are they? But that's the thing that really needed. Like, it needed that choice. Because Crash Bandicoot 4 had this thing where you could select lives, but you didn't have to. You could have, like, infinite lives as well. I don't know, I just find that that would be nicer, because when Insane Trilogy came out, there were so many people that were saying, like, Crash Bandicoot was apparently the Dark Souls of gaming. It was really, really difficult. I think they probably forgot, like, what the original one was like, because they probably haven't played that in absolutely ages. And I suppose back then or so, you know, 3D platformers now were starting to make a comeback. I mean, it was, what was it? Was it 2016? Ah, fuck, I can't remember. Insane Trilogy, it was either 2016 or 2017. Okay, because I know A Hat in Time came out in 2017. And that was a good one, wasn't it? Alright, cool. We're on up the creek. That's like one of the water ones, isn't it? The perspective is sometimes like top down. Oh, also, I could have made things easier for myself in the first episode by not taking too much hits. because that way I could have basically got Aku Aku the third time and then become invincible, and I could just plow through level. I mean, like I say, I don't really want to do like perfect runs of this anymore. What I will probably do though is if I do spend a long time on something, then I might just cut to the chase. But the difference is that I am going to be more honest. Instead of basically saying nothing and making out as if like, oh yeah, I just done that first time, fucking oh, God gamer. It's like, no. It's not going to be like that at all. It's like, just going to be, hey, I had to cut this shit out because I kept fucking up. That's probably what you'll find. The music here though is like so calming, I'll tell you. Apparently, the developers of this game had to like almost hack the PlayStation. Yeah, I screwed up on that bit there. Because, you know the monkey, when it rolls, for some reason, if you spin it when it rolls, yeah, it just throws you back. Like catapults you off. How that makes any sense, I don't bloody know, but I guess I know now. That's the thing, really. But, yeah, with the PlayStation, they had to somewhat hack it also. By that I mean like just mess with the geometry to get it to render in this sort of way, and honestly, it's pretty bloody impressive, I must say. Oh my. Also, I got so many lives. Like, my god. That's what happens, like, when you've been playing a game for quite a while. Especially where, because I played 2 and 3 quite a lot, it meant that, you know, some of the stuff I was used to, so Crash 1, I suppose, didn't feel as overwhelming. Because I mean, I can imagine also back then when this came out, this was like completely new, isn't it? Like it's you can go forwards and backwards, like not left and right now. It was like a 3D system. If there's one thing I really hate though in life that I will never get to experience, I really hate that I do not get to experience what these games were like when they came out. And I mean, like, you know, the day it comes out and then you go over to like your local gaming store, pick it up and play it, and it's like, oh my god, look at these graphics. These are like so revolutionary. And it just looks, you know, awesome. I'm never really going to get to experience that, which is an utter shame, but, you know. I mean, at least I can experience some other games, and that I haven't really touched. Not quite in the same era, but still, or is it era? It's one of the two anyway. Because, oh man, my library, good grief. Where it's got a lot of games now, sometimes it's hard to pick stuff. So I have like a system now. What I tend to do is like, if I can't decide, because I'm like, God, so much stuff, I can't decide for the life of me. I tend to just randomize stuff now. So like, I'll randomize the console, and I will randomize the number, because I have like a spreadsheet of like the games, so then I know what the hell I've got, because honestly that can be useful. And then whatever the number it lands on, it's like, hey, you can try out this game, but if I disagree, I'll just randomize it again. So, you know, that does sometimes work. That literally worked with Quackshot for the Mega Drive. Like, I'm not even kidding. I had no intentions to play Quackshot, but then I did, and it was brilliant. Quackshot is so good, man. Anyway, yeah, this is Ripperoo. I don't like this boss. Now, the boss itself is not really that difficult. Like, I'm sure there is something you can do repeatedly every single time and it will make it easier. But I don't know, fucking the perspective and stuff just messes with me. I can't get it right. See, what you're supposed to do is like hit the big TNTs. They're actually called big TNTs. What? That's cool. But yeah, if you do that, then it will detonate, and you have to do that in time. And this part here, you probably didn't notice it now, but I did actually cut ahead. Why? Because I died on this dude like about fucking 5-6 times or something afterwards. So I can't actually remember, but the point is, it took forever, right? And I thought, oh, I just got to cut to the chase on this. So what you're meant to do, eventually, when I get it right, is you're meant to time it. So if you do that and he jumps there, yeah, he gets hit, and then you repeat the same thing. Again, I am sure there is some way you can do this where it just happens all the time, and I'm just making this look a lot harder than it is. But this boss is like the one that I struggle with the most. And honestly, that is so confusing. Because the other ones I don't. But yeah, And that is it for Ripperoo. And so marks the end of the episode. So I guess I'll see you lot in part 3 of Crash Bandicoot.